Venezuela, once of the wealthiest nation in Latin America, is now a land of paradoxes, home to the world's largest proven oil reserves, yet crippled by poverty. The country's wealth is literally under its feet, in the form of black gold, oil. For decades, Venezuela heavily relied on oil exports as its main source of revenue, its economy tightly bound to this single commodity. The nation's prosperity was directly linked to the ebb and flow of global oil prices. When they soared, so did Venezuela's fortunes. But when they plummeted, the country's economy tumbled with them. This over-reliance on oil made Venezuela incredibly vulnerable to market fluctuations. The nation's economic stability was, in essence, a house of cards, built on the shaky foundations of oil prices. And as we'll see, when the oil market faltered, so did Venezuela. So the golden goose of Venezuela, oil, became its Achilles heel. Venezuela's downfall wasn't just economic, it was political too. The seeds of this political crisis were sown by the concentration of power under two leaders, Hugo Chávez and Nicolás Maduro. With their rise to power, Venezuela saw an increasing political polarization. The divide between the government and the opposition deepened, leading to a tense political climate. Under Chávez and Maduro, dissent was suppressed, often brutally. This stifling of voices led to a lack of political stability, as protests and unrest became the norm rather than the exception. Fear of persecution kept many from speaking out, creating a chilling silence that echoed through the nation. But the political crisis didn't just affect the Venezuelan people, it also discouraged foreign investors. With political instability, the risk was too great. Investors pulled out, taking their money and potential growth with them. Political instability has had a chilling effect on the economy, discouraging foreign investment. But politics aside, the management of the economy also played a major role. Let's delve into the financial missteps that led to Venezuela's economic downfall. The government, in a bid to control the economy, nationalized key industries. This move, however, backfired. The lack of competition and inadequate management led to inefficiency and stagnation in these sectors, crippling the economy. Then came the devaluation of the Venezuelan currency, a move intended to combat inflation. Instead, it triggered a vicious cycle of hyperinflation, causing the currency to lose its purchasing power at an alarming rate. The people's savings evaporated overnight and the cost of living skyrocketed, plunging the nation into economic chaos. And let's not forget the devastating role of corruption and embezzlement. These unethical practices drained public resources, further undermining the economy and eroding public trust in government institutions. Economic mismanagement and corruption have left the economy in tatters. The economic and political crises have had devastating effects on the Venezuelan people. The ripple of these crises has reverberated through every corner of Venezuelan life, leaving no stone unturned. Poverty is no longer a specter looming on the horizon, but a harsh reality for many, with access to essential goods and services becoming a daily struggle. Imagine a life where basic necessities such as food, water, and medicine are luxuries, rather than givens. This is the grim reality for many Venezuelans today, and when life becomes so unbearable, what choice is left but to leave? A mass exodus of Venezuelans seeking refuge and a better life elsewhere has been a heartbreaking consequence of these crises. The healthcare system, once a beacon of hope, has crumbled under the weight of economic instability. Shortages of medicines and healthcare professionals have left the most vulnerable in society without a lifeline. The humanitarian crisis in Venezuela is a direct result of economic mismanagement and political instability. Venezuela's woes don't end at home. They extend to the international stage as well. The nation has been hit hard by a wave of international sanctions, a consequence of human rights violations and mounting political concerns. These sanctions, imposed by entities like the United Nations, the European Union, and the United States, have significantly hampered Venezuela's economic growth. These sanctions aren't just a slap on the wrist. They have concrete implications for Venezuela's economy. They limit the nation's access to international markets, making it harder for the country to sell its oil, the backbone of its economy. Additionally, these sanctions restrict Venezuela's access to financial resources on the global stage. This means Venezuela has fewer funds to import goods, leading to shortages of essential items for its citizens. The impact of these international sanctions, coupled with political isolation, has deepened the economic crisis in Venezuela. In essence, it's a tough situation that's getting tougher. International sanctions and isolation have further deepened Venezuela's economic crisis. So where does Venezuela go from here? As we delve into the future of Venezuela, it becomes clear that the nation faces a multitude of ongoing challenges. Among these, environmental issues pose a significant threat, with climate change and deforestation impacting agriculture and biodiversity. Coupled with this, a lack of investment in infrastructure development leaves the country in a state of disrepair, hindering progress and economic growth. The situation is further complicated by the significant brain drain Venezuela is experiencing. As many educated and skilled individuals leave the country in search of better opportunities, the nation is left with a dwindling workforce and a decline in the quality of education and research opportunities. This in turn affects the country's ability to innovate and compete on a global scale. At the same time, Venezuela continues to face global economic challenges. Falling oil prices, on which the nation heavily relies, and the global economic downturn have further strained Venezuela's already fragile economy. The future, however, is not entirely bleak. Despite the uncertainty that shrouds Venezuela's prospects, there is a pressing need and opportunity for political stability, economic reforms, and international support. Political stability is key to fostering an environment conducive to growth and progress. Economic reforms, including diversification of the economy and curbing corruption, can help to stabilize the economy and create a more sustainable future. International support, meanwhile, is crucial to aid Venezuela's recovery. This support can come in various forms, from humanitarian aid to financial resources, and can serve as a lifeline for the struggling nation. In the end, the road to recovery for Venezuela is fraught with challenges. It requires the concerted efforts of the Venezuelan people, their government, and the international community. The path is steep, the journey will be long, and the obstacles many. But with the right changes, the right support, and the right amount of resilience, Venezuela can begin to navigate its way out of the crisis. For now, the nation continues to spiral out of control, leaving millions of Venezuelans in dire circumstances and raising concerns both nationally and internationally.